Hello, welcome to another Marriage Hacks. And have you ever wondered what makes a marriage last?
In today's episode, we're going to talk about the art of purposeful or intentional listening.
And my name is Joseph,
And I'm Miriam.
and we have been married for 35 years come this September.
September 2nd.
Yeah, September 2nd.
The purpose of this channel is real talk, life hacks, and lessons to make your marriage better.
Now, at any time during this discussion, if you find this information of value, please like, subscribe, and share to our channel. We are continuing a 9-point series on what, Miriam?
Marriage glue.
Marriage glue. So far, we have covered 2 of the 9 points. Love based on decision
and commitment.
Yes, and commitment. Today, we will discuss number 3, intentional listening.
What is intentional or purposeful listening? First of all, there's understanding. You've got to understand the emotions, the desires, and the concerns of the person who's doing the speaking. And you've got to do this by not responding.
Now, let me tell you guys something. Miriam used to get on me all the time about listening.
Butting in.
Yeah. She would say, well, Joe, right now, I don't want you to say anything. And she'd start shaking. When Miriam gets upset, she'd start shaking. And I want you to say anything.
Oh, I'm going to tell on you too.
And she said, so she'll just say, listen, right now, I just need you to listen. See, a lot of times we make the mistake, or we try to formulate our answer while another person is talking. So we are spending more time formulating our answer instead of doing intentional listening.
You have to go beyond passive listening. You have to not only listen, but think about the questions that you want to ask that will expand on the points. And one of the most important things is listening without judgment.
Yeah, that's another thing that Miriam gets on me about. She even told me there's certain subjects that she won't even bring up because she feels like
I know
that I will judge her on those things, on those subjects. So we have to I'm not perfect. I will admit that I'm not perfect. We all have to work on ourselves and work on our communication. But guess what? It's going to make for a more adhesive marriage. Okay. Now the next point is empathy, understanding and sharing the feelings of your partner. Miriam, you want to elaborate on that? On empathy? Okay, she has a look on her face. That's dangerous.
No, I think empathy is hard for men because I just think it's hard for men because I'll try to talk to Joe about something. He doesn't get it because I'm coming from a woman's point of view. So empathy is one of those things you might have to go to one of your girlfriends to talk about because men aren't good at empathy.
Well, the next one is respect. I'm sorry. Valuing your partner's perspective and treating their thoughts with consideration. I think we've all been there before when we have voiced our concern or our feelings, and it seemed like there was no consideration for what we were saying. And a lot of times that may not be the case, but that's what communication is for. You need to make sure that your partner fully understood and respects what you said.
Okay, before I jump to this next one, the respect and valuing your partner's perspective has a lot to do with that empathy thing and really feeling or understanding what your partner is saying, because there's a lot of times when I hear you, I don't respect it, I don't agree with it. And you got to be allowed to have that perspective when you finish listening.
Well, another thing is this next point is having a genuine interest, showing a real curiosity about what your partner is communicating. Now, I know that can be challenging because we all have different passions and things that we like, and maybe some of the things that your partner likes, you have you have nothing about that intrigues you, and so you must at times
Pretend.
at least give it audience, and at least show that you have some kind of interest, just simply because they are interested in that particular thing.
This microphone looks like a big bug on my shirt. It's just crawling up my neck. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So you want to cover
Non-interpretation, allowing your partner to speak without interruptions.
Yes, she meant to say non-interruption. But yeah.
Interruptions.
Yes. That's very irritating when you're trying to talk to somebody and then you're constantly interrupted by, yeah, it could be a cell phone or whatever. Now, I will admit, my wife is very busy. She she works with our church as far as Central Tracks is concerned.
That's the new member
Yeah,
program.
the new member program, and she's constantly receiving calls.
And plus, I get calls from my clients and texts and things from my clients.
Yes, I mean, you would think that she is a pastor of a church. That's just how many calls that she will receive.
No, it ain't.
And not to mention our children. You know how your children, they always want to hear from mama, so they're gonna want, hey, mama this and mama that. So sometimes it's like I feel like I'm the last on the list. It's like I'm trying to get my 2 words in, and it's like it's almost impossible. But we must make sure that our spouses are receiving the adequate time to share their hearts with us.
Another is body language, using nonverbal cues to show that you're engaged. Like, for instance, when doing a text from a client or a new member or something, I'll go, Joe, I'm listening. And I really am listening. I'm multitasking.
Yeah, and see, I'm kind of jumping the boat a little bit. And see, multitasking is actually one of the things that they say not to do if you're trying to be an intentional listening, because it would drive me crazy if I'm talking to Miriam and she'll walk off into another room. Oh, I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Jeez.
I mean, that is a little irritating, at least to me. I'm like, well, at least stay in the same room if you can, But I know sometimes, life is busy and we have to try to multitask. But if you can refrain from multitasking while you are talking to your partner, that would be very beneficial. Next one is feedback, providing responses that show you have heard and understand your partner.
Like I said, I'm listening. You were talking about your mama. You were talking about work. I got you.
That's another thing that's irritating. You have poured your heart out to your partner, and then at the end of after you say your last word, you're waiting on a response, and they just sitting there. All you hear is crickets. It's like,
well,
aren't you gonna give me some feedback?
Okay, Joe Willis. A lot of times, I'll wait for you to stop talking, just like just now, and see that you're waiting for a response. But sometimes you're not always finished. And you'll go, I'm still talking. And I'll go, okay. So maybe we need to give each other a signal, like, or something.
Well, going into some more points that involves things not to do as far as being an intentional listener is, of course, distracted listening. Okay, go ahead. You gonna say something?
Daydreaming.
Yeah, daydreaming.
I'm guilty of that. I daydream, especially when I'm not interested in what he's saying.
And we've already mentioned multitasking, and we've already mentioned interrupting the speaker, and also formulating answers without fully understanding what was just said. So I hope that this episode gave you some enlightenment on how to be a better intentional listener in your relationship. And like we always do at the end of our episode.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
We went through those very quickly. Let's just repeat those things. What is purposeful or intentional listening? It's understanding the emotions, desires, and concerns of your partner, not responding prematurely, beyond passive listening. Don't just, or the kids or whatever. Listen without judgment. In other words, hear the person out before you say something. Then there's empathy, understanding and sharing the feelings of your partner. Respect, valuing your partner's perspective and treating their thoughts with consideration. Genuine interest, showing a real curiosity about what your partner is communicating. Non-interruption, allowing your partner to speak without interruption. And you said interruption, but you got an S right there. Body language, using non-verbal cues to show that you are engaged in the conversation. Feedback, providing responses that show that you have heard and that you understand, or that you're trying to understand. Now, things that are not intentional or purposeful listening: being distracted, daydreaming, multitasking, interrupting the person, or formulating answers without fully understanding. And for me, that last one is most important, because I like to communicate, but I'll shut down in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. As soon as I figure out you're not hearing me, because Joe and I have had a situation this week. He wasn't hearing me. So I've shut down, plain and simply. And then he'll go, Miriam, what's wrong? Miriam, what's wrong? And I'm like, you weren't listening to me in the first place. So, are you going to listen to me now? Are you going to understand my point of view now without being getting your feelings hurt? Because sometimes listening involves getting your feelings hurt. Are you willing to get your feelings hurt? Are you willing to just be able to really listen, hear that person's point of view, and understand or agree to disagree? Because sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to agree or disagree. Yes, we are one, but we have our own thoughts and we have our own feelings. And those thoughts and feelings don't always match up.
That's right. That's right. So, like I was saying, I hope that this episode benefited you. And if so, we would like for you to like, share, subscribe, comment. Now, I will admit that I made a mistake and set up the YouTube incorrectly. I'm sorry. I'm brand new to this YouTube thing. And the way I set it up did not enable you to comment, but it has been corrected. So comment. We want you to comment. We want to
be nice.
Yeah, be nice. Yeah, be nice. But we want you to comment so we will know how to minister to you better the next time. So until the next time, be blessed.